Rob from the On the Ranch North Queensland Cowboys fans podcast joins me right now for an opposition fans preview. Welcome to the ET Stand podcast, the Cronulla Sharks fans podcast. We're getting infiltrated by a bit of North Queensland fun. G'day, Rob.
G'day, Baldo. Thanks for having me yet again. We meet again after the last last interesting encounter.
We meet again. I've got this question lined up in my question list for you to chat about. And we've got Rob here. He is obviously a very learned North Queensland Cowboys fan. So we won't hold that against him. We do like Rob, but his choice of football team is pretty good. We do like the Cowboys. But is there like a rivalry now between the Cowboys and the Sharks, given the fact we've played, 5 playoff games against each other in the last 10, 11 years?
It's a bit like that. They're sort of both roller coaster teams is probably the best way to call them. You don't know which team's going to show up which week. We certainly feel that way anyway. So, but yeah, there seems to be a bit of a rivalry, a friendly rivalry going on. There's definitely no malice towards the Sharks at all, I don't think. I mean, we've got some of your ex-players up here, and I think we've had a few of our players go down that way over the years as well. So it's a little bit of quid pro quo, I suppose, but yeah, no, it's enjoyable. I do like watching or coming up against the Sharks.
Well, you haven't enjoyed coming up against the Sharks these last few times. We've had the wood on you, except in the big games, really, haven't we?
Well, that's where we want it. So we lull you into false sense of security during the year.
Yeah, I'd certainly swap all those other losses. Indeed. All right, well, let's get through these damn YouTube semantics. So we're available on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already to be notified of all of our upcoming videos. We're also available on audio only on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and many more of the podcast outlets. Now, yeah, we have Rob here from the On the Ranch podcast. Now, your last episode on the Ranch, you called it Croaky.
Yes. Well,
you've always seems to have recovered from the weekend, mate.
Yeah, well, that was, what was that, Saturday night? So we're now we've had our 5-day turnaround from that, and it's a little bit better now. It was, if you listen to the show that would have come out this morning, that was last night's voice, and it was a little bit average, and by the end of the night it was quite crackly and definitely croaky. And on Monday and Tuesday night it was just a no-go at all. It just did not work.
There was no Tuesday night podcasting or Monday night podcasting for you guys.
Not this week. There was not, no, for better or for worse, but it wouldn't have been a very good show anyway. It would have been very quiet, which might have been a good thing. But we didn't want to put that out there. But we had the coach on last week, Todd Payton.
All right.
He told us to be, well, he told everybody in North Queensland to be loud and proud and boo the other team, and try to make it hostile. And I think everyone did just that. We were a bit quiet in the first half when the Knights were ahead, but coming out in that second half when the Cowboys brought on that comeback, everyone woke up and it got loud, very loud and very messy.
Well, I can't imagine too many of the Sharks fans watched that match closely because we were still smarting from our somewhat shellacking at the hands of the Melbourne Storm. So how'd you get back into it? What happened?
Get back into the game. Well, it was a little bit of genuine class, I suppose. You could call it that. I don't know. There must have been some words said at halftime that put the wind up the boys, and they got it together. So I would like to say I know exactly what it was, but I was a little inebriated at the end of the night, and I can't remember exactly what it was. So it's I haven't watched the highlights reel or a replay still yet. No, I don't know if I want to. I'm just living off the memories that I do have.
It was a 50-0 win. What are you talking about? Don't you remember that?
That's how it sounded to me. Yeah, that sounded good.
Now on your podcast, listening to it back, and thanks for having me on the Ranch podcast yesterday. You chatted about this Panakin cup that you've got that you were drinking out of, and I'm sure tell me about that.
Yeah, so Pistol came up with it was at Magic Round this year. So he got a hold of I think it was a Bundaberg Rum branded Panakin, which is a camping mug. You've probably used them before, maybe when you were younger. Went camping and you would have had a steel mug with the enamel coating. Anyway, this one had a Bundaberg Rum branding on the front of it, and he just somehow figured out that 2 standard poured spirits from the footy game would fit into that just nicely. And so he'd been drinking out of that ever since Magic Round. Yeah, pretty much. And so we got the idea that we'd grab our logo and throw it onto a couple, and hence we came up with this bad boy.
The On the Ranch Anakin mug. Jeez, we got to get the BT stand ones of them, don't we?
Yeah. So we wanted something that stood out for a little bit of branding and to give to our faithful Patreon subscribers. So we came up with that one. It fits a schooner in there just neatly, or as we found out on Saturday night, it fits a glass of ice and a 325 or 375 mil rum and cola. So it's just neatly fits in there and makes the night quite nice. And as it turns out, you can't get stuff poured straight into that at most licensed venues, or at least not in Queensland. But
certainly not in Sydney, mate.
I can imagine, but they're more than happy to give you the drink, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So you just walk away from the bar and into there, and off you go.
Oh, how funny. Well, if you want to listen to a funny rugby league podcast, the On the Ranch podcast is good fun. But let's get serious. We have a very, very, very serious game on our hands. Friday night, which is tomorrow night at Allianz Stadium, the old SFS area, 7:50 p.m. kickoff. Mate, the Cowboys, are you in red hot form? Is that what you guys are calling? Was it 9 wins out of the last 11? Red hot?
It's something like that. I think the first half of the year, really, there was obviously some defensive issues, and probably first 3 quarters of the year, really. And probably in the last 4 to 5 weeks, that's the defensive structure that's been implemented this year, which was a bit of a change over previous years from what we're told. We had the coach on last week, so that's how we sort of got a bit of an insight on that. And, he sort of gave us a bit of insight into the defensive structure that's changed a little bit over the last, I would say probably 6 months, but it's actually starting to click now. And that's sort of helping. It seems to be helping. There's not a whole lot of points been leaked in the last couple of weeks. The attack is still there. But the defense has come a lot better, and obviously there's been a little bit of change in the halves as well. So whether or not that's sort of spurred on a little bit of
how could you drop Sharks legend?
Well,
how could Sharks legend Chad Townsend not make this team anymore? As we bring up the Cowboys team here,
so he had a week off. He had a week off there after a pretty bad round. I think he missed a few of his assignments. Is probably the nicest way of putting it. And Jake Clifford was waiting in the wings and has been sort of nipping in his heels. Now he's a Townsville boy or at least I think he's a Cairns boy actually, but he's back from overseas and he's been sort of nipping at Chad's heels for a while. He got a run, I think it was against the Roosters off the top of my head. And basically he played probably the best game he's ever played, and has just not looked back since then. He really has sort of come into his own and is really owning it. He's got an unbelievable kicking game. His boot is probably almost as good as Matt Burton, if I do say so myself.
Get your Cowboys goggles off, mate. Come on.
Yeah, have a look at it. It's could be a bit scary.
As good as Nico Hines kicking for touch against Melbourne Storm. What are you talking about?
Well, at least it goes out. So we'll give it that. But no, he's been really good, and obviously everyone else has really come back into form. Val Holmes, as you would know, another Sharks legend, I guess. He's really come into his own, or back into form, I suppose, in the last half of this season as well. So, and everyone else, especially that forward pack, they just seem to be gelling. Helam Lukey is on fire. Jeremiah Nanai is just coming back into form at the right point. And the outside backs are just as good as ever. You can't go past Kyle Felt, can you?
Well, you know my thoughts on Kyle Felt. We're going to park that and come back to him. Yeah, the thing about this Cowboys team that stands out to me is my knowledge of them as far as opponents. We're familiar with Drinkwater. We obviously know Felt's try-scoring record, most notably against us being the top try-scorer all time against the Sharks, certainly of the current players. Holmes, we know. Tawalungi, Gunn, Dearden's been in good form. McLean, Taumalolo, Nanai and Cotter, they're no slouches, those guys. And Reece Robson, he's pretty good too. So you got a pretty good team there, mate. It's a shame that they're in the Cowboys yellow.
The Cowboys yellow. Thanks for that. We're actually blue and the grey. It's the yellow is just an accent. But no, Reece Robson, obviously the New South Wales hooker this year, so you can't go wrong there. He's helped them win a series, the first one in a while. But
does that hurt when a North Queensland New South Wales player has a good series, or do you don't care?
No, we're all incredibly proud of him, and everyone was more than happy to see him make the team. We were actually calling for it, I think, last year. So more than proud to see him make that team. Robson's not a North Queensland local, but I mean, he's honorary local now, I suppose you'd call him. But he's for sure he definitely deserved that spot. That's to say the least. He's a tackle machine, absolute tackle machine.
What can you tell me about number 4? I'm not going to even try. I'll let you pronounce his name because I'll get it wrong.
Viliami Vailea is
Viliami Vailea. Is that it?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, young fella. He's sort of finding his place in North Queensland, I guess. He's from the Warriors. Came over from the Warriors, and I think that's where Toddy Payton sort of recruited him from there, from memory. So. Yeah, he's solid. Plays inside Kyle Feldt, so you gotta know what you're doing if you're inside a guy who is that old and and knows. So
is Feldt going to be on? Feldt will be on Ronaldo. Is that right? Is that the side that they'll play on?
Yeah, I believe so. So when our team is named, you'll see Val Holmes in the 3 and Vailea in the 4, but they'll swap sides. So you'll have Holmes will be on the left side with Talangi and Vailea on the right. That's in the attacking. So, yeah, you'll have Felty up against Mulatalo.
Yeah, that's right.
As I look at the team there. And then Talangi will be up against Katoa. Sione Katoa.
It's a fair bunch of wingers there.
Oh,
I'd say I always say the Sharks wingers are the strongest winger combination in the NRL. The Cowboys ones are not far off them, though, are they?
They go a little bit under the radar. Again, Murray Talangi is a State of Origin player. Kyle Feldt had a run at State of Origin as well. But, Mulatalo's no slouch. Absolutely. Nor is Katoa. So, I mean, they make me nervous.
Who's making you nervous in this Sharks team? We'll bring up the sky blue of the Cronulla Sharks. Who's making you nervous there, mate?
Sky blue. Look, Hero's having a great game, great year. Mulatalo as well as he's almost a guaranteed try scorer. He's always in one of my multis, put it that way. Maybe not this week, but even Will Kennedy. I don't think he played in our last game.
No, there was a few out. There was a few out versus you guys in the last game. Nico also didn't play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Will Kennedy, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think was it Atkinson played it? Was he?
Yeah, but that was early Atkinson before he'd worked out how to do it. But Nico he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. But look, that one had the Blake Brayley sin bin. So those sin bins and those referee moments can often turn these matches. And I think this one. Well, I just think this one's going to be super close. I'm not. Look, I was all bravado on the ET Stand podcast on Tuesday nights, and we're going to win by 100 points. But it's not going to be that close. But hopefully, we win by 10 with 5 minutes to go. We're not worried about dropping the ball.
Look, these days, 10 is a close game anyway. If you have a look at some of the scores this year, it's either a really tight game or it's a blowout. So you very rarely see, or even 10, 12, 14 points margins seem to be sort of the minority, I suppose. So no, I agree. I think it's potentially going to be tight, probably within 8 points of each other.
Yeah, I'd say
if not less. I could definitely see it going golden point.
Oh, Valentine is going to break my heart again.
Well, look, I won't say no to that, but Scotty Drinkwater can slot him over as well. So
Valentine's a gun field goal kicker. Come on,
he is.
He's just an absolute beast at kicking those field goals. He just seems to have like the trajectory on the way that he kicks it for those field goals. When he's like that one he hit against us in 2022, that's as good a field goal kick as you're going to see, other than the one that he did from the sideline in the Auckland Nines to get us tied up in the final and push it to extra time.
Yeah, no, he's he's unreal. Where he can drop them from. He's the same with conversions. He can hit them from just about anywhere. I think he had about 25 or 26 straight going into the game on the weekend, and missed the first one. So and hit. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, hit every.
Was it a commentator's curse? Yes.
Oh, again, I was at the game and a bit inebriated. Couldn't tell you, but he hit every pretty much over the dotted line, over the black dot every shot after that. So, he's allowed to miss 1 in 30. So I'm not going to hold that against him.
Obviously, the social media and the news media chat this week has been very Nicho Hynes focused. I'm going to two-part question. What do you make of, as an opposition fan, an opposition supporter coming against a high-profile player with a lot of pressure on him?
I got no issues with him having a lot of pressure on him. From our point of view, the more the merrier. That's if we're going for a win. I think it's a bit rough. That's New South Wales media. They'll focus on a player and grind them into the ground and make up stories if they need to, or at least it appears that way. North Queensland, we tend to miss out on those, the high-profile stories. We could, again, well, I guess our highest profile player is Jason Taumalolo, and he's had a handful of stories this year anyway, but even then it probably didn't resonate that big down there. Probably at the moment, you've probably got a few stories on Kyle Feldt because it's his.
Well, they're positive though, aren't they?
Yeah, those ones on Kyle Feldt are generally, from what I've seen anyway, because it's his last season. So, or at least that's what we see.
Did not like Kyle Feldt's attitude and bloody antics at Liam Ison when he scored that try.
Look, welcome to first grade. If you can't handle that, then you've got a tough future.
That reminded me of Mitchell Moses, and I'm sure you don't like him either.
Look, I've never had an issue with Mitchell Moses. I don't. I think he's all right. I think he's had a lot of pressure on him for a young fella. He's weathered the storm, and I tell you what, he had a pretty good Origin season. He played Origin this year, didn't he?
He played game 2. Oh, we're not talking about Origin. Mitchell Moses in game 2 and 3's banned. Anyway, what's the social media chat around? So it's what? It's Taumalolo and Feldt. Is that it? Anything else?
That's what we tend to see here. And I don't know. Again, we don't tend to see New South Wales media here that much. I don't watch NRL 360 or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you what they're on about in terms of the Cowboys. I think they've got a bit of a media ban with us anyway, or at least Toddy Payton certainly doesn't enjoy talking to them. So I don't know how the rest of them go.
Yeah, that's true. Have you seen the ads from Paul Gallen's calling out for Sharks fans to jump on board the G train? Has that crossed your desk?
Can't say I've seen that one yet.
So it looks like they haven't sold as many tickets as they would like for this match out of Allianz. So an amusing social media campaign was put together today with Paul Gallen jumping on the train from Cronulla and then going all the way into Central. And I can confirm he actually did catch the train and do that, because I thought that they would make it look like he was on the train the whole way. But no, then he turns up at Central train station. That's a 45, 50-minute train ride. It's not a short amount of time.
Well, and that's if the trains are on time.
Well, it's apparently the 5:05 p.m. G train is the Sharks train to get in to see the Sharks play. What do you make of the minuscule crowd for a semi-finals match?
Look, you either have it out at Shark Park where you can fit 14 or 15,000 anyway, or you have it at Allianz where I don't know, what are you going to get, 18 to 20?
Probably 18 to 20.
And it's going to look half empty, so if not worse, maybe. So I don't know. It's you win. Oh, no, it's not even that. It's not you win some, you lose some. You lose either way, I think, in that case. If you have it at Shark Park, you're going to miss out on, or some fans are going to miss out.
Shark Park's a nightmare for getting seats.
Yeah,
especially for us ET because we lose all of our seats to like Fox Sports people and other rubbish. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm looking at you, NRL. It's rubbish. And also the other thing is, at least we don't have to worry about this with it also bugs me that the NRL can't seem to get it together where they don't have opposition fans near each other. Just have Cowboys bays. And if you're a Cowboys fan, sit in those bays, because it also causes problems, because the regular game, it's kind of okay. I remember you talked about it. I think it was Pete or you said it was your favorite Cowboys finals victory. I was there at the 39-0, and the Cowboys fans pumped us, and we copped a bit of shtick from the Cowboys fans, which was a little mean. We'd just been smashed 39-0. Like, you should have been cuddling us, not throwing stuff at us. But look, I understand. But
yeah, well, I mean, we're pretty good, but we'll give it where we need to. I know up here there tends to be a lot of away supporters for most clubs.
Yeah,
there's probably not a whole lot of Sharks, but there's definitely a lot of Tigers, Raiders, and Broncos, obviously in here in Townsville. But not a whole lot of Sharks. But look, occasionally you will see a jumper from time to time. I've got respect for the opposition myself, and I hope most people do anyway. There's always going to be in that element, though.
There's always one, but it only takes one to ruin it, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, pretty much. That'll ruin your night.
You want the fun banter and the Cowboy versus the Shark here. Look, if it's in water, obviously the Shark eats the Cowboy, but if it's outside of that, then the Cowboy just pulls the gun out and shoots the Shark.
Well, that's right. I'm with you, though, with the bays where there should be supporter bays, and I'm surprised that there's not, where effectively you can, they should have all the Sharks.
Them, but they had a few Storm
specific
fans.
Bays.
They had a few Storm fans in the Sharks Bay, and it wasn't nice. But
well, it'll never be 100% pure. But
enough whinging from me. Should just be.
It would be good.
All right, Rob, come on, tell us why the Cowboys are going to win. Give us your tip, and we'll close.
I'm always obviously
opposition fan preview.
Going to be on the Cowboys for obvious reasons, but I think with the defense that's sort of gelling, so long as that shows up again this week, then I think the Sharks are going to have a hard time getting through. I know that they'll be doing their homework though, so they'll know what they're about. But look, our outside edges are probably potentially our weak points, or at least have been in the last probably 18 months. Whether or not that continues remains to be seen. But I can see us running up the middle here and trying to tire out your forward pack, which I know is hard to do. You've got a solid forward pack there, but it's worked against the Bulldogs.
If Fitzy runs with Atkinson on the bench, which don't do that, Fitzy, then that gives you a chance of doing that, because your forward pack's got your bench is all forwards, and what have you got? 3 big power forwards and a back row bench.
Yeah, so Harrison Edwards is probably the smallest guy off the bench there. But Sam McIntyre has just been an absolute powerhouse this year. He can run through anything at the moment and almost fill in anywhere, hence he's in that 14 jumper. But Griffin Neame as well gets the ball and just runs. There's something wrong with him. He'll run into a brick wall if you give him the ball. So nothing wrong with him. And of course you got the starting forwards there who've just got power to burn. Yeah, this game's going
to be close, isn't it? Come on.
It is going to be close. I'm a little bit scared of your outside backs, but aside from that, I think the forward packs are fairly evenly matched, just quietly.
I think that's probably right. There's not much in the hookers and the halves either. Dearden's a star, but Nico's pretty good. So
he can be. Look, Nico, there was a thing I saw today. It was Phil Gould, whether or not you subscribe to Phil Gould, to some of his ramblings sometimes. Yeah, he had that little trick play thing. He said, I didn't mind that. I don't know if I agree with it 100%. I think Nico is just, I think he's good, and I think he can pull him out when he needs to. And it's just a matter of whether we can give him, or whether or not we do give him enough time. Well, hopefully we don't, from my point of view. But I think Nico probably needs a little bit more time to make those decisions, and that's where the forward pack needs to really give him that time. So
he's also learning as a halfback, isn't he? So he's still only a few years into it. I think with Adam Fanua-Blake next year, he's certainly going to be pretty strong. But look, all right, so Cowboys by how many, Rob? 1?
Look, I'm going now. It wouldn't surprise me. I think I said beforehand it wouldn't surprise me if it goes to Golden Point. But I would like to see probably, I think it's going to be Cowboys by about 6. One converted try, if not closer.
All right, Rob from the On the Ranch podcast. If you want to listen to a North Queensland Cowboys podcast, or you want to buy some brilliant merch, jump on the On the Ranch podcast. Available on which platforms, Robbie?
Pick us up on just about all of them. Apple, Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can see this face on YouTube if you really want to. And pretty much anywhere you pick up a podcast, you can find us there. We're doing bit spots on the radio this week as well. So,
oh, good.
If you listen, it'd be local radio anyway, but ABC and Triple M we've been on this week. So, just we're trying to get everywhere. Get out there.
Well, just all that coverage in North Queensland. Just, I'm sure you're walking down that, what is it, the Townsville Mall? Do you have a mall up there?
Yeah.
Walking down the mall, people recognize, on the red, Rob, yeah, come on.
That's exactly what happens, 100%. Yep, signing things left, right, and centre. Not a problem. Yep,
exactly.
Too easy.
That's right. All right, that was the Opposition Fan Preview with Rob the Gentleman from On the Ranch podcast, available on all good audio podcast channels and also on YouTube. For me, David Boulderman, this was the ET Stand. We will see you guys next time. Up, Cronulla.
The Cowboys.